What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Silent Savages. Today we have Tom Degiuli. Tom, I really hope I still said that right.
Yes, sir. Yes, you did.
Tom likes to kill with the kettlebells. Apparently, that is the theme right now. Yeah, let's just dive right into it. What's going on, man?
How are you, man? I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. I love doing podcasts and I love just like talking about stuff that I do, but also to basically pick the brain of somebody who does the same stuff. Because with me, like right now, the kind of atmosphere that I'm around, I don't have a lot of guys that are like into the kettlebells and the clubs and everything. All I can do is really just teach it to my clients, but like it's refreshing when I can have a conversation and kind of pick the brain of somebody who has the same mindset and does the same thing. So thank you for giving me the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming on here. I mean, I really appreciate it. I obviously, before we started recording, I told you I messaged you as you're out there doing the real work and not the flashy stuff. So, I mean, we could start right there if you want.
Yes, sir. So yeah, like the flat. Okay, so nowadays in our society, social media is very prevalent, very, and a lot of people, a lot of trainers, and a lot of coaches, they kind of got hypnotized into thinking that the way you should train and the way you should work out, or even the way you should coach or how you should teach, is to do all the flashy crap that you see on Instagram nowadays. And my thing is, I'm a martial artist, and the way that old school martial artists got into it and got ready for competition was very basic. They would train their sports, but their strength and conditioning coaches would have them do the basic shit that everybody knows: push ups, pull ups, squats, sprints. Even back then, people were using kettlebells like how me and you do. We both do jujitsu, stuff like that. So, the way that I program myself and for my clients is very simple. I don't do the flashy shit. If my client asks me, oh, why can't we do that? Why can't we do this? I tell them, listen, you can do that by yourself. The way I do it is I keep things very simple: push, pull, carry, legs, swing, toss, punching stuff, like that kind of stuff. So now going back to the social media thing with Instagram, TikTok, like I feel like we've lost that kind of nature where you're getting the work done, you're burning calories, you're sweating, you're building muscle, you're getting after it. But a lot of people lost that aspect of training and they care about more of how many likes, how many views, who's following them, who's sharing it, what they can do with it, and stuff like that. So that's why, like, the flashy stuff, listen, it's cool. Like, I'm all for like flipping kettlebells around and all that stuff. But if you're barbell squatting on two kettlebells and you're just trying to look good for the gram, then that's not really in my niche. So something I really believe in is just really just keeping it simple, getting after it, getting your heart rate up, and just really getting strong and focusing on actually doing strength and conditioning rather than trying to be a circus performer. You know what I mean?
For sure. Well, then it also, you got a new guy that is watching and wanting to get into like their fitness journey and where they're going to start. They see this guy and he's doing these crazy things, and then he thinks he has to do that or she has to do that, and then all of a sudden they get injured, not like right off the bat, because it's not something you're even going to do ever. It's just something for a view or a like, which, like I said, we said it's cool and all, but someone doesn't really know, and then that's what they see, that's what they're going to do, and then all of a sudden they're hurt and they're out, they're starting up, like they're down and out for a while. So
Yeah.
that sucks.
Yeah.
So
No,
go.
again.
So you are a trainer, so you really drive home that just that hard work, your push pull, doing the leverages, legs, carrying stuff, throwing stuff, hitting stuff. What is, like, walk me through what you would have like a new client do. Like if someone was brand new, came to you, hey, I want to get stronger, I want to get a little leaner. What would you have them be working on?
So with new people, even if new people are new to the style of my training, or if they're just brand new off the couch, I ask them, what is it that you want to do? Do you want to look like an Instagram fitness model? Do you want to get in shape? Do you want to impress women? Do you want to impress guys? Whatever. everybody has a reason as to why they want to get into working out. Me, for example, when I was younger, I was bullied, I was suicidal. And the reason why I started working out was because I wanted to get strong and I wanted to intimidate the people that I didn't like, the people that caused me pain. Obviously, now I'm a lot older. I'm about to be 26 years old. That was when I was younger. That's when I was like 12, 13 years old. But that's the reason why I started. My reasons are completely different now, but that was the baseline of why I started to train and to work out. So it's caused through pain. But most people that start nowadays, why? They want to lose weight, they want to get in shape, they're motivated. So that's the first thing that I would do. And basically, if they want to get strong, I would say, okay, I would introduce them to kettlebells, keep it very simple. Simple swing, simple squat, simple clean and press, just stuff that is easy to teach, but it's challenging, right?
Sure.
So with certain people, with newer clients, whether they're obese, whether they're skinny, there's different attributes that people have to work around. Even with like using the clubs, for example, steel clubs, doing a simple clean and pulling back. Even the pullovers when you're grabbing the clubs, where to put your feet, where to put your hands, how your legs are. I'm bracing my core as I'm coming up. I'm pulling over. I'm doing a tricep extension. This right here is activated, my lats. So I basically just introduced them to my style, but very slowly. I'm not going to have a first 1 day client teach them how to do steel club swings. You know what I mean? Because that is a
Right.
very anchor movement. You have to know where your hands are, where to rotate your hands, your core, your hips. But also it can go back into the conventional lifting too. You can mix and match that. So say if a guy is doing, let's say, flat dumbbell presses with a hex grip, press that up 10 times, then take a 10, 15-pound steel club, do 10 pullovers, do supersets. What I do is a lot of supersets. I want people to get strong, but I want their heart rate to go up too. Because like I said before, when we were talking about that before you started recording, I like to kill two birds with one stone.
Yep.
One, the strength aspect of lifting, and two, cardio and high intensity. So you could even be doing deadlifts, hex bar deadlifts, and doing that 10 to 12 times. And then you superset it with 10 kettlebell swings. You don't got to go up on weight on the swings, but you can go up with weight on the hex bar.
Right.
So a lot of that stuff can be explosive and it can be strength training, but also anybody can do it. Anybody starting off, whether you're 25 years old out of shape, whether you're 50 years old out of shape. My father, he's 64 years old. He's been working out for 3 years and he does all this stuff. So my main thing is with people just starting off is that just because you're not in your youth or just because you're not an athlete doesn't mean that you can't do those movements. You can't learn. You can't perform like a 25-year-old when you're 35, 40 years old, So I try to open people's minds up to that and to teach them basic stuff. And then progressively, as they get stronger and more equipped to the style, to basically start to up the intensity and to see where they're at, see what they can do.
Right. And you're doing it slow over time. So they're also learning their body and how to move their body. And that comes a lot with, especially this style of workout. You kind of should know a little bit about your body and how it moves. Because if you don't, that swing you don't hinge right, your back's going to hurt. Everything's just going to hurt. Nothing's going to be right. And that's just a simple kettlebell swing.
Yeah.
So knowing your body is definitely, I think, a big factor. So starting slow, I think, is huge. You said that you kind of got into this because you had like suicidal thoughts. What made you did you get into working out, or you said earlier you were into karate and like Muay Thai? What was your first step into this world?
My first step into the training world was doing karate at 10 years old. That's where I was younger. I was telling my dad that, oh, Dad, I want to get into a sport. So we tried everything. We tried baseball, we tried basketball, football. I just couldn't get into it. And for some reason, I just didn't perform right. Until one day, my dad put me into karate. And I really liked that at a young age because it taught discipline and it was a fighting aspect. So any kind of fighting martial arts, whether you're younger or older, or you're a little kid, it's very difficult. It's very hard. And as I start to grow up and get good with that, it helped me channel my anger into something that was positive. So instead of picking fights at school, getting in trouble, doing dumb things with friends, when I was younger, I started a very good time because it built the foundation of me being an athlete, but also being somebody that's calm and somebody who knows how to control a situation in their anger. With the lifting and the strength and conditioning world, that was basically taking my love for martial arts and basically amplifying it.
Yeah.
Once I started lifting weights and I started doing more of bodybuilding kind of workouts and powerlifting, that helped me on the mat tremendously because I was stronger, I was more durable, but it was also for the mental aspect. Going back to being suicidal, like when I was 12 years old, like it was a very young age. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was like, I don't know why people are saying certain things about me. I don't know why people are doing this. So instead of using it as a negative thing, I said, all right, you know what? I'm young. There is opportunity in what I could do to get myself stronger physically, get myself stronger mentally. And there's so many more things I could put my energy towards than into negative thoughts and causing myself harm.
For sure.
So after as I started getting older, obviously as everybody gets older, you mature and you're not the same person that you were, a year ago, 5 years ago, especially 10 years ago. I'm 25 now. I am nowhere near the same as I was when I was 15. But it's going to be the same thing for me in the next 10 years when I'm 35. Like how I am now is nothing going to be like how I am when I'm 35.
For
So
sure.
basically just building the foundation for physical strength, but also the mental aspect too, because a lot of people that I talk to, and I'm sure you can relate, is that this stuff is our therapy, especially nowadays in the time that we're in with everything that's going on in the world. I feel like a lot of people now, they kind of realize that training, sweating, getting after it, lifting weights, you're distracted by everything else. You're not thinking about your relationship. You're not thinking about work. You're not thinking about school. You're literally in that hour or two, just making sure your sets are good, making sure that your rolls are going well, making sure that you're getting leverage over the other person, or even just making sure that your kettlebell swings are right and your heart rate, you're controlling your mind at the same time. All the outside shit, that stuff doesn't matter. What matters is what you're doing now and what you're doing in the moment, and to keep your mental and your physical strong so you can keep that momentum as you go.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Um, that mental distraction is definitely gone. I know sometimes I will get sidetracked when I'm working out, but when it comes to jujitsu, there's like no distractions because I've only been doing this for 14 months. So I'm still at the beginning stage. And if I slip up one little bit, well, you know how that goes. You're getting tapped like 6 times in 6 minutes. So it's like that sucks. And let's bring that down to maybe 2 times in 6 minutes. So it's true. You just want to focus. It's a good way to relieve that stress. In 2020, I was really into running. I don't want to say I was into running. I was into what running brought to me because I fucking hate running. I don't really know a lot of people that love running. But anyways, I started my business in 2020 doing concrete work, and I would go on runs at night and just 2-3 miles, whatever. That mental clarity I would get after about a half a mile, like I made so many good business decisions after my half mile to a mile because I like literally nothing mattered anymore. Like I'm breaking my body down. It feels good and my head's super clear. So it's almost like that meditative state where you're just like super focused. You can answer the questions you need to answer. And I think running is really good for that. But then I also think lifting and then any kind of martial arts is good for just clearing the head and not having to think about anything but what's in front of you and what you need to tackle.
I
So
agree.
I totally agree with that because I could totally relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
That's how my body definitely works. So you got into karate. How long did you do that for? And then you also said you got into Muay Thai. So
Yeah.
were those one
They were
right after each other or were they
They
intertwined?
were kind of combined. Like as I got older, the kids classes, I was 10 years old. Obviously, after like a couple years, they started offering Muay Thai there. So we basically just kind of merged it in together. I kind of like bounced back and forth between it. But after what I said before, when I was 17, 18 years old, I got hit in the mouth. I got punched by a quick jab. The guy's pinky knuckle hit my 2 teeth right here, and those got knocked back. And after $20,000, I said, all right, I don't want to do that anymore. So after that, I it still built the foundation for me because after I stopped doing that, I went into jujitsu it basically was the same thing. It was all grappling, but there was no striking. So with the
Right.
grappling aspect, it's like you know, you're sitting down, you're listening to the coach, you're being teachable, and you're learning as you go. You're not going to do great, obviously, when you first start off, especially in jiu-jitsu. Nobody is just a freak athlete right there with jiu-jitsu. It doesn't matter if you were a D1 wrestler, softball player, or football player, whatever. It doesn't matter. So with that, at that point, that set the foundation for me to be a learner and always to be coachable. And even to this day, I always sit down in a classroom or wherever, and I'll always learn. I'll always be willing to be taught and to sit down and listen.
For sure. So are you still training jujitsu? You said you took a break from it right now, just the way the world is going right now, right?
Yeah. So I took a break. In 2020, my coach, the gym had shut down just like everybody else. So we were still training underground per se. But then after my business started picking up and I was an EMT, I didn't really have the time to do it. So I was on the ambulance working 12-hour tours 3 days a week, and I was focusing on my personal training business. So I kind of switched my gear from my training to really focusing on my life and everything else that was happening, because as I was getting older, I realized that I wanted to compete and I wanted to, kind of make a life out of jujitsu, a life out of training. But then I started to realize, I'm like, all right, you know what? You got to be like two ends of the spectrum. Like, to me, I believe that you should be able to teach, but you could also compete if you want. But I'd rather the teaching aspect rather than the competing aspect. So in 2020, when that happened, I hurt my knee. I was wrestling a blue belt. I had him in a gable grip. I had him in a single leg. I brought him down and then he bulldozed into me. I started to rotate to my right and then I couldn't catch my leg in time. I couldn't pivot at the right time. So the inside of my knee popped and I sprained my MCL. So after that, I was in crutches for like a month. It really wasn't that bad, but that kind of took away from my livelihood. So I had to take a break from that, but I still watch jujitsu all the time since I've been doing it. Since after I stopped doing it, I still love jujitsu. I still love like the aspect of it and stuff like that. I really just now just been more focused on the kettlebell training and the steel clubs and everything, and also focusing on my own clients. But eventually, I would like to get back because I do miss rolling. I do miss like that atmosphere and that company with people and people just like, wrestling and takedowns and the gi and just the lifestyle like that. I do miss. But I did it for 5 years. I got my purple belt in 2019. And then I did it for a majority of 2020, but after I got hurt, I took a break from it. But I do want to get back into it. I do miss it.
Yeah, that's if someone told me I had to stop right now, I'd be very devastated. Obviously I haven't done it as long as you have, but I'm dealing with the shoulder injury right now. And I told myself, yeah, you can take a couple weeks off and you just go sit in class, just pay attention. And it hit me like, well, you don't actually have to stop. It doesn't hurt if it gets pressured on. It only hurts if I push off. So I literally tie my belt as tight as I can. I stick my arm in between it and I roll one arm. And everybody at the gym is just like, A, you're crazy. And B, your game is already going up because you're figuring out how to do stuff with one arm. So when you do get that other arm back, it's just, you're just going to make leap and bounds. So rolling through with this injury is it's difficult. It makes you really slow down and think like, I can do this with two arms. How do I do it with one arm? And a lot of things you can't do with one arm, but you're just figuring stuff out. So it's been fun, actually. It's kind of like, not that I was losing focus in it, but it like re-sparked that like beginning feeling of like, it's just a whole new game. And I just didn't want to take any time off. So that
You know what
helps.
I say? I tell people about injuries. I say that there's a guy with no arms and no legs that can swim, right? So every time somebody comes to me with an injury or if they get hurt, God forbid, and it's like, Tom, like my foot hurts or my knee hurts or like my wrist, something with my wrist and stuff like that. I said, okay, no worries. We work around it. We do stuff that we can.
Mhm.
And I always say that analogy because I feel like every like not everybody, but majority of people, they'll be on a good roll with martial arts, with jujitsu, with training, whatever, weightlifting, and then something happens. Listen, shit happens. It's life. You're gonna
Yep.
get hurt. You're gonna get into car accidents. Like something is gonna happen.
Yep.
You know, it's life. It happens to every single person on this planet. But every time I tell people that statement, I say it because there are no excuses and you could always do something. Now, I'm not saying to, you know, like constantly run on your knee after you just tore your ACL. I'm saying that get your physical therapy done, get whatever it is that you need to get done with your knee, for example, and you can literally sit down and do shoulder presses. You could do kettlebell clean and press. You could do steel club hovers. You could take, you know, you could do the ropes. At some gyms, all that.
Anything.
You could do literally anything to stay in motion. As long as you're staying in motion, it doesn't matter because you're still making progress. And then eventually, when you're able to work out that certain body part that is injured and it's fully restored, you can start to build up from that. And then you can become who you were even before you got injured. They
Right.
say life is short, but me, I don't believe in that because at the end of the day, you could do stuff and learn and get stronger no matter what age you are, no matter how long it's going to take, because the time's going to pass by anyway.
Right.
So you might as well look at the setback about, all right, you know what? My shoulder's fucked up, but can I still move? Can I still go on the mats and learn? Yes. Can I train the way I want to? Can I hit double legs in wrestling? Can I do comp classes and get ready for a tournament? No, but you can still move. You don't have to be bedridden for 2 months and then you go back. So I say that analogy about the guy with no arms and no legs because it's like, listen, if you got no limbs and you can swim underwater and be perfectly fine, then you can still train, you can still lift, you could do things around your injury and around things to where you stay in motion, but you don't quit. And a lot of people quit because they face that adversity, even
Right.
with jiu-jitsu. Listen, when you're getting messed up on the mats by blues, purples, browns, if you're a purple belt and you're in a room full of black belts, right? You think you're the top dog, but in reality, you ain't nothing because these guys have been doing it for years and they will murk you with ease. I train with um I train with JT Torres. I train with Michael Lear Jr., Josh Hinger. I train with with a couple of the best guys in the world. And my old coach, Weiss Sakizada from Sucker Free, he used to murk me all the time, all the time. But you know what? It was adversity, but that's how I learned. That's how I saw adversity. I was like, all right, you know what? Like, I'm not doing too good at it, but let me keep coming. Let me keep progressing and let me see where I can go. So moral of the stories is that we're going to face adversity. We're going to have injuries. We're going to be, you know, sometimes we're not going to be mentally there all the time, but as long as you stick to it, as long as you tell yourself, all right, you know what? It's going to be worth it one day. I'm going to work around my injuries. Excuse me. I'm going to be injury free and I'm going to be able to perform even better than when I got injured or before I got injured. So it's all mindset. It's all mental.
Yeah, it's just that it's keeping up with that consistency. Because if you lose that consistency, it's going to be way harder to go back. Like you're going to think about, "Oh, well, I got hurt and then I had to take this time off. And if I get hurt again, then I got to take more time off. And I already lost most of all my progress that I just made over the last 6 months. And I just lost it in a month. But if you keep going, you're just keeping that habit going. Whether you're making improvements or not, you're still making improvements because that habit's staying there. And then all of a sudden you're healed and you're right back to where you were and you pick up where you left off. I mean, I'm gonna go with all my experiences, especially right now. Yeah, I'm still putting time in on the mat, and it's hard as fuck to do it. But I've really slacked on my workouts because it's not the workouts I want to do. I don't want to work on my legs right now. I want to do freaking kettlebell swings and clean and jerks and all this other fun stuff. But I don't do it because I only have one shoulder. But those are just BS excuses. I know that. And I know it's going to be harder to start back up, but it is that consistency. And I know if I would take off jujitsu and quit working out, going back into it is going to be extremely hard. And I don't want that. So the working out, I'm still doing it. It's just not my daily routine anymore. Now it's a couple days a week, not 6 days a week. But yeah, I mean, I can already feel it. Like now we're talking about it, I'll call myself out. I already know it's going to suck to go back and throw a kettlebell around because I'm not doing anything right now. So I relate a lot to that. And then being on the mats and just getting smashed by other people. I mean, I think I heard this saying, jujitsu is for everybody, but not everybody is for jujitsu. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like it's a certain type of person that wants to do what we do. And when I try to get people to come and do it, they look at me like I have like 3 heads and I just look like an alien to them. They're like, why do you want to go get strangled by these guys? Dude, it makes you feel alive. I don't know if you feel that way, but like,
You
yeah, I
know
just
what?
almost died.
You
But
know
I
why?
didn't.
You know why people don't want to do it? It's because
It's hard.
people don't want to do things that suck.
Yes.
They don't want to do things that fucking suck. And jujitsu sucks because you are literally getting manhandled from another guy or
Yes.
girl, and they're literally on top of you and they're strangling you. You're looking at yourself like, holy shit, I can't do anything.
Anything.
I'm in a controlled environment, but if it like I literally cannot do anything. They have me pinned down to the floor and I can't do shit. And even if when you know how to do jujitsu, it still sucks because you could be rolling with a black belt for 6 minutes in a comp class, 1 minute break. All right, you're going against a brown belt. Oh, I'm going against somebody else. It sucks. And I feel like nowadays people look at that and they're like, oh, I never have to do that. But you never know. Like, listen, you may need that one day in your life. But going back to saying what I said is that people just don't like doing things that suck. And with my approach to people, especially people who have been doing this for a while, people make excuses and they don't want to do things that are challenging,
Yep.
that get their heart rate up, or even just push them to do something they've never done before. So modern regular day people, they look at stuff that we do and they're like, oh, I would never do that. But they don't understand why we do it. It's not because we get some fulfillment about, fighting people and we're barbaric and we think some crazy shit. No,
Right.
we get fulfillment out of it because, like, all right, I'm doing a sport, I'm learning how to fight, I'm getting stronger, I'm getting more mentally equipped to handle myself. And it sucks, but we like it. It's therapy for us. It gets us going. It makes us feel alive. Me,
It
when I was
does.
on the mats for an hour or two, I felt fucking great because, like I said before, it makes me forget about everything that's going on in my life, whether it's business, school, work, jobs, relationships. I don't think about shit. All I think about is me having half guard and me not having this guy pummel me and just darce choke me or get full mount or to attack my legs and get me into a heel hook. And it's just, it sucks, but you got to embrace it. You got to embrace being uncomfortable. People need to learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
For sure.
That's the whole thing. And your mind is the most powerful thing. And in Muay Thai, they teach you where the head goes, the body follows. So if I'm moving to my right, my body's going to move to my right. If I move to my left, it's going to go to the left. Yeah, I can move my head. This is not without it moving, but where your head goes, where your mind is, if it's going forward, it's going to go forward. If your head mentally is going to go backward, you're going to go backwards. So as long as your mind is in motion and your mind is constantly pushing forward to do better, then your body and everything else is going to follow it.
I totally agree. I've never heard it put that way, but I definitely like putting it that way. I mean, you lead with your head. I mean, it's the same thing. The way you think is the way you're going to act. So if your head's going backwards, like you said, you're going backwards. I like the way you said that. That makes a lot of sense to me. So when it comes to like nutrition, what do you like? There's so many ways to go with nutrition. Like, do you eat this or do you eat that, or do you count these macros, or do you eat just plants, or like, what's your take on it? And then if you were going to tell somebody when they get started, do you give nutrition advice to your clients, or you do? Okay. Sometimes.
I do sometimes, but like, I'll be honest with you, like I never cap, I never have a facade with anything. Right now, I eat whatever I want.
Yeah.
I'll have steak tidbits with fries. I'll have chicken and broccoli. I'll have ice cream. Like, I pretty much eat whatever I want because at this point, like, I'm so far into the game that it's like I don't really need to diet. Like, I'm already at the level of where I'm at, and I'm fine with that. And yeah, I got, I'm muscular, I'm ripped, but like, I don't need a fucking 6 to 8 pack because that shit sucks. And I hate the world nowadays with that stuff, but because like I said before on social media, you have a lot of guys that are roided out, and I mean roided to the bone. They're on all the drugs that you could think of. These guys are broad, these guys are ripped. They have striations on their shoulders like nothing, and they're huge. They have 8-pack abs. And a lot of people think that they can get like that if they hardcore diet. They do hours of cardio a day, but they don't know the difference. They don't understand that they're on performance enhancing drugs. And that's the big facade that everybody has. So if I had, let's see, if I had a new person come to me and say if they were overweight, let's say it's a male, he's 5'10" and he's 350 pounds. He's obviously obese. What I would tell him is that, listen, you need to get into a strength conditioning program that fits your body type, but also you need to not do a cold turkey diet, meaning that, oh, I'm just going to eat salads and grilled chicken every day. It's not going to happen. That's not realistic. You need to be realistic as to where you start to change your lifestyle little by little. So with nutrition, I always tell people, eat stuff that's not man-made. Meat isn't man-made. Vegetables isn't man-made. Fruit isn't man-made. So eat stuff that is healthy and that is, you have a good balance. You have good carbs. You have good protein. You have good vegetables, good fruit. And try not to complicate it. The more we complicate shit, the more it overwhelms us and the less likely we are to stick on that path.
Yeah, we resist it.
Yeah. So the cold turkey diets where people are doing hours of cardio a day when they're first starting off and they're just eating grilled chicken and broccoli, it's not going to happen. You need to find a good system with nutrition. You should see a nutritionist. If people really want to dive into that stuff, then they should find out their blood type. They should find out like what their hormones are, like what certain things, the things that they eat, what their weight, what their body type is. You can really dive into it and see what it could be. Because as a trainer, me personally, with nutrition, I basically just eat healthy and I'll eat what I want here and there. Right now, I eat whatever I want, but I have a good balance because I've been doing this shit for 15 years. My metabolism is through the roof. I train every day. I'm doing steel club swings. I do my cardio. I'm good. But a regular person, they have to stick to a program, something that will work with them, because not every diet is going to be a cookie cutter thing where it works for everybody. You know, one diet can work good for another guy, like say like a keto diet. I don't believe in that, but the keto diet could work for somebody. And then some guy could try the same thing. He could do keto, but it won't work for him. Maybe he has to go to a carnivore diet. Maybe he just has to eat vegetables and just kind of have a balance with meat. So I basically just tell people, find something that works for you and find something that gives you the best results. Don't do something that some Instagram person did or some coach did that's on drugs and they preach it, but it doesn't really work because not everybody's.
Yeah, I would say that go on some kind of, you got to try a bunch of different things if you're not going to go see a nutritionist. So start with just vegetables or start with just meat, kind of do an elimination diet, and then eat whole foods like you were saying. Nothing man-made, nothing processed. I know this stuff tastes amazing, but if you're really trying to lose that weight, that's what you want to start with, is just whole food. I would start with, I mean, I personally eat a lot more. I'm more carnivore-ish. I don't know if I'd classify it as that. I mean, we had pizza last night with the kids. Like, I'm still going to eat the shit I want to eat.
Yeah.
I don't have necessarily the body I want to have, but I'm also willing to take those sacrifices. And to me, I'm not going to die because I ate a piece of pizza. Like, I'm not trying to impress anybody. As long as I'm getting physically stronger, mentally stronger, and I can still roll, I'm happy. So, but I did notice when I started doing carnivore-ish, I was having a lot of IG issues, and that eliminated a lot of that. Going that route. And then I hunt, so we get a lot of deer meat. It's easy, it's super lean, it's super good. And I just lean towards that. But my family doesn't. So my kids like all the good stuff. We try to teach them the right ways, but we're still gonna have treats. And then my wife is the same way. She's opposite of me. She doesn't want all the meat. And if she does, she wants chicken and she wants salad. Like, that's what tastes good to her. So you kind of find what works for you, and then you can add in little things to see how that's going to adjust your training and what you're actually going for. So, right. And then I would say do it a little at a time. Like you were saying, you do a little bit, try it for a month and a half. And then, okay, I didn't really like the way I felt. My energy levels sucked. Now I'm going to try this. But you also got to remember when you first try a different diet, your body's going to react differently. So if it doesn't react good in the first week, that doesn't mean it's not going to react good in a month. Your body's just readjusting to all the stuff that you're doing to it. So you got to give it that time to see what your body likes. I mean, would you agree with that?
I agree, yeah. And something that I've noticed with something I've noticed with leaner clients, like people who are very skinny, when they first start, I realized this like a couple months ago, a couple clients that I have, when they start to work out and they start to lift weights, their body starts to kind of explode. It starts to expand. So usually you would think that people that lift weights are going to carve up. No, like they were skinny, but their body starts to expand. So after a little bit, after like a month or two of their body getting used to the training, they start to slim down. They start to kind of compress and condense. So the body isn't used to the strength training because, like how all muscle is, how the body works, you lift weights, you tear your muscle fibers apart, and you grow in your sleep. That's what it is. You don't grow in the gym, you grow when you sleep. You tear yourself apart in the gym, but you grow when you sleep. So that's something I've noticed with skinnier, like more leaner body clients. You expand and then you come down. And I tell people that, listen, at first, with anything that you do, it's going to look weird. It's going to feel weird. But eventually, once your body adapts to it, it's going to be like, all right, this kind of stress is something that I need to get used to. I need to adapt. And that's exactly what it does. And that's the same thing with dieting. Because say even if you go from drinking, let's say 15 beers a week, right? Say if you're going to work in the office in New York City and you go after work with your coworkers and you have 2 Guinnesses, right? And then the next day you have 3, next day you have 2, whatever. You do that, say 5, 6 days a week. That's 1 week. Now you cut that cold turkey and you just drink water. You're still going out to the bar with your coworkers, but now you're not drinking. You're just having water, sips of water. Your body is looking at that. It's like, oh shit, I'm not taking that drink that I like. I'm not getting that dopamine from my brain. I'm not getting those happy hormones that I get when I'm drinking this. Water, it doesn't taste like this. So your body is going to adapt and say, all right, well, I'm not getting what I was getting before that made me feel good. So now I got to adapt to this. So it's the same thing with dieting. You not having a cheeseburger a day and you're switching that for grilled chicken, broccoli, and brown rice, it's going to be completely different. So the body understands stress by going into a shock mode and then adapting to it. Because any kind of stress that we do, the body amplifies and it gets used to it. A steel club pullover is a different kind of stress than doing a kettlebell swing. A kettlebell swing is different kind of stress than doing a bench press. So your body is going to adapt, but it's going to take a little bit of time because the way the human body works is it's pretty interesting. And even when we get injuries, say if we get a cut, like you have a cut callus, right? Over time, your body starts to morph and it starts to be like, all right, I got to cover this wound. That happens over time. If you get injured, like with your shoulder, for example, even if you didn't do the physical therapy or all the treatments that you do, your body would still adapt and be like, all right, it's not going to heal the way it should, but it's still going to heal in some way. So the human body is very interesting. And I agree with what you said. So with dieting and stuff like that, you should try different things that work. If all carnivore works, then God bless, you hit it on the first spot, the first mark, whatever. If carnivore doesn't work, but your body starts to change, you'll be like, all right, what if I add a little bit of vegetables? Okay, the vegetables are working. Now let me add a little bit of fruit. The days that I want to snack, let me have a banana. Let me have some fruit and stuff like that. So that I highly agree with. The body adapts to different kinds of stresses of what you put it through.
Yeah, I mean, it's really when you're first starting, it's really just an experiment with yourself. But you kind of got to pay attention to what you're doing, because if you don't, then you don't know what you did and be like, wait, that worked. What did I do? I don't remember what I did. What did I eat? I mean, I don't remember what I ate yesterday. Like I do because I eat pretty much the same thing every day. But when you're just starting, you're not always going to remember what those things are. And your body, like you said, it's gonna adapt. It's gonna figure out what it needs, and you just got to pay attention to what's going on. It's just that simple. But it's the same thing with workouts. You know, if you're trying to hit something, but you're not hitting it because you're doing exercise A, well, okay, maybe I need to do exercise B And C, to get the result I'm looking for, you're not always going to feel those results within a week. You're going to feel them in a week, 2, 3 weeks, and then you're going to start to feel it rather than just within that week. So everything is like, it's an experiment and it takes time and you got to be patient. You can't rush it. Right. I mean, you
gotta enjoy the process.
yes. And that's all it is a process. It's
Mhm.
fun. I mean, I have a blast doing it. I enjoy it. I think it's a super important thing to face those adversities that you're going to be doing, whether you're going to do martial arts or you're just going to be strength training, or you're just going to be, you want to be a freaking marathon runner, which in my head, a marathon runner, those are crazier people than the guys that go and do martial arts. That's my opinion. I've ran an ultra marathon and I've ran with guys that are very good at running, and those guys are crazy. They're very different. They're awesome, but man, I'm glad I don't run anymore because that I hate that. Do you run?
I never run. I hate running. Running is just miserable. It's boring. I hate it. Like I'll do it sometimes, like once in a blue moon. Like I'll be on my Cameron Haynes shit and I'll be running for like a mile to warm up, or like I'll listen to David Goggins and be like, wow, I'm such a pussy, and I'll just start running. But no, I hate running. I don't know. Any kind of like long distance cardio or like long cardio, I don't like. Like I like doing like the intervals. Like I like doing sprints. I like doing double unders or like burpees, stuff like that. But any like long distance time cardio, I hate. It's just boring. It's not
It
that I
is.
do it. It's just I hate it.
Yeah, I don't enjoy it either. Like a good 3 miles is good. Like that's not super long, half hour, like at a good 10-minute pace. Like you're
Yeah.
not killing yourselves, it still feels good. Um, but yeah, I ran an ultra in 2020 and I ran 31 miles and it was like, why
Jesus.
the fuck did I do this?
Most I ever did was 10 miles, and that took me an hour and a half to do.
This
That
took
was
me
when I
six
was
hours.
that was 4 years ago, and that was miserable. It was terrible. I think after the 5th mile, I took like 10 minutes to recoup, and then I started again. I'm just like, wow, this is miserable. But I mean, hey, listen, it's just like anything else. It's like, listen, if people like it, they do it. Then God bless. If that works for them, that's fine. You know?
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna go back to the experimental thing here because um I don't know if 2020 wasn't the year his book came out, but we're gonna go back to David Goggins, and that's what inspired me to be like, dude, you could this guy ran a marathon. Like, why can't you run a marathon? I was like, I'll do it. I'll do it. So I signed up for an ultra, never even ran a marathon before. And I was like, I can do this. Like I trained and I trained hard. And then work got really busy. And this is my excuse coming up. I'll call myself out on it. And I stopped training for like 3 weeks before the race. Maybe it was a month, 3 to 4 weeks, whatever. So I stopped training, and then my wife looked at me and she's like, "Are you still gonna run this thing? Because like you're signed up and whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm still gonna run it. Like whatever, it's not a big deal." I started running with a guy for the race, and we were talking, and he told me he's running the marathon part of it, and I was gonna run the ultra, the 31 miles or 50K, whatever you want to call it. And I was like, okay, cool. He goes, just so you know, I keep this pace the whole race because I want to hit a 4 hour marathon every marathon I run. I was like, okay, that's fair. He goes, so feel free to fall off whenever you need to. So we're running, we're talking. I mean, we're talking a lot. And all of a sudden our watches go off and we just 12 miles gone already. And I'm like, man, I feel great. I'm going to stay with you as long as I can. I hit mile 23 and my legs blew up. Like I was
Mhm.
on pace to run my first marathon in under 4 hours. And I hit that 22, 23 mile mark and my legs just completely blew up. And I literally walked the last however many miles that is. Was that 7, 8 miles? Because it hurts so flipping bad. And yeah, I don't run anymore. I mean, that's the moral of the story.
I don't blame you, man. That to me just sounds miserable. Like
It was. I'm
misery.
I mean, really the main reason that run went good is because of that guy Paul that I was running with. Like never met the guy before. And really that's the only reason that run went as well as it did, is because I literally was talking, or we were just having a conversation the whole freaking run. And uh That's the only reason I got it done. But it still took me 6 hours to complete that. 6 hours and 9 minutes. And I can tell you those last 2.5 hours were the hardest 2.5 hours I think I ever had to do.
I
And
believe
yeah, it sucked. So, but it does bring this up because I'm gonna set myself up for this challenge. So David Goggins does that 4x4x48. You know what that is?
yes.
Yeah, that's coming up in March.
Misery.
Yeah, I decided to sign myself up for that and just give her a whirl again.
God bless.
Yeah, now that we're talking about it, I don't know why I did that, but we're gonna give her a whirl.
You're gonna do it, and you know what? You're gonna do it, and you're gonna say, you know what? This is gonna suck. This is gonna be miserable. But you know what? I'm just gonna say fuck it, and I'm gonna do it. And that's exactly
it.
what I do. That's
Yeah.
what I do with everything that I do. I just say, you know what? It's very challenging. It's hardcore. Yeah, am I gonna die? But you know what? It's gonna be character building. It's gonna be something that I've never done before. So why not give it a whirl and see what happens? And I love David Goggins and guys like that, like Cameron Haynes and all them, because I look at them and it's like Cameron Haynes, he wakes up at 3 o'clock in the morning and he runs 10 miles.
Dude, that guy's insane.
And he works a day job. He works a day job. And then afterwards, he'll lift and do bow hunting and do whatever he has to do. And he's older. And I'm looking at myself. I'm like, damn, like I'm 25 years old. And I'm just like, I feel like I don't do much. Like I'll train every day. Like I'll do the same shit every day. I'll hit kettlebells. I'll do clubs. I'll do sandbags. Like I'll do jump rope. I'll do double unders, burpees. I'll do all that shit. But then it's like, I look at other guys doing other things. And it just, that's motivation to me, because it's something in the mental capacity of the human mind that you want to be better. But there are some people out there that are just mentally just, I'm going to get the fuck after it and I'm just going to make stuff happen. And like with what you said about the marathon with that guy, what was his name? Paul?
Oh yeah.
There you go. The guy, Paul, even when I'm working out with my clients, like sometimes like I'll tell like my clients, like, hey, yo, I'm hopping in with you. And they're like, oh shit. And I'm like, yeah, well, we're going to get after it. So like, they'll do the same thing I do. They'll do kettlebell swings, not the same weight, but they'll do kettlebell swings. They'll do steel club swings. And it may look like that I'm just like bulldozing through them. And I'm just trying to, speed up. But in reality, it's like, no, I really do get great training when I have a partner, or even when I'm with one of my clients, like even like a person that comes to me, yo, listen, like I'm going to hop in with you through this workout. It motivates me because they do their set. I'm going to do my set, but it's a vice versa thing.
Right.
As my client sees me finish my set, they're like, oh shit, I gotta go. But in reality, I'm doing the same thing. I'm like, oh shit, they're about to be done. I gotta go now too.
Yeah, it's that like mental, you just automatically is like, it's not a competition, but it is a competition.
Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you don't say it out loud, but in your head it is. Whether you're not admitting it, but you know it. And then he's thinking the same thing or she's thinking the same thing. It's like,
yep.
All right, here we go. It's competition. Here we go. See who's gonna do what.
And it's funny, my clients, they always say they're like, I like working out with you because one, like it pushes me more because you're not only you like the coach, you're the trainer, but it's like I can see what I do because I'm able to keep up with you. And I tell all of them, like, yeah, listen, like I don't give a shit. Like if somebody laps me, or if somebody lifts more weight than me, and one of my clients and one that I teach, that's fine because that's what I want. I want people to get strong and I want people to see what they can do. Is it going to be hell to try and keep up with me and try to push the same weight with me? Yeah, I ain't making it easy for you nowhere or another. But listen, if they do it, then listen, God bless, because that's the goal. That's what I want for people to do. And that gives me fulfillment because if people look to me as that kind of resource, even when I am training with them, when I'm not, then my job is done. And if me working out with my clients, like if my client hit me up, like, yo, listen, like I want to get a workout with you. I'll be like, all right, listen, I trained already today, but fuck it, I'm going to do it again. I'll do another hour workout with you. And I've done that before. I'll train in the morning and then one of my clients hits me up and they're like, yo, I want to work out again. I want to work out with you. I said, all right, whatever, I'll do it again, So yeah, being a part of a good team and having good people around you, whether if you just met them or not, it plays a very, very big role in whatever you do.
Oh, I agree 100%. It kind of like, now that we're talking about it, it's kind of like having a good training partner in jiu-jitsu. Like if they want to go hard and you guys want to learn stuff, then it's awesome. It's the same thing if you're working out. You both want to go hard, you're going to push each other to do better, be stronger, become better. Same thing with jiu-jitsu. You're not going to give up an easy tap for somebody unless they're injured, whatever, that's a little different, but you're not going to go light. You're both going to push each other to see what both of you are made of. When you work out, you're going to push each other to see what you're both made of. And really, it may be a competition, it may not be, but you're really just helping each other and yourself push yourself to that next boundary, wherever that may be. So yeah, training partners are, I think, huge. I do. So I have a garage gym, and I think that's like part of my mental lack is I can get after it by myself, but sometimes it's just nice to have that training partner there to be like, all right, dude, we're both tired. Let's just go. You know? So I kind of miss that. And I work out. I mean, I get up at 4:30 and I'm out in my garage at like 4:50 or 5:15. And if I can get someone to actually get their ass out of bed and come work out with me, I would love to, but no one wants to get up that early, plus do a workout. It's super hard to find.
Yeah,
So
I do an open workout at the gym that I'm at now. It's at 12 o'clock, and I have everybody come, like people from the gym, the trainers, whatever. And every time I'm there, it's such a great workout that I'm a part of a team. But like you said, it's a competition, but it's really not. So sometimes I look at the guys, like, for example, one of the owners, Miguel, we call him the Hulk because he's 40 years old and he's just broke as hell. He's the nicest guy I've ever met. I love him to death. He works his ass off. He's in the gym every day, 7 days a week. And sometimes he'll do stuff and I'll be looking at him, but I'm like, really? You really about to do that right now? And then he'll do the same thing with me. So like it will push each other. Like one day we did heavy kettlebell cleaning presses. So the last round, the dickhead that I am, I took 68 kilograms and I decided, all right, whatever, I'll press it over my head because Miguel did it one time. So then after I did it for one. That shit's heavy. I did it 1 for 1 and Miguel looks at me. He comes up to me. He's like, you motherfucker. I'm like, yep. And then of course he proceeded to do it. So, but nah, yeah, that's what I like about that stuff. Like, it's a competition, but it's not. But at the end of the day, you guys, you still have the same mission, the same goal, and you still are going to push yourselves to do better in that aspect. With me, like with my training partners, everybody's with the shits and they always want to do it. But even then, like getting it after it by yourself is one thing, but really being with somebody that pushes you and wants to do the same things, that takes your workout from an 80 to 100. That is very, very good.
yeah, I'm always gonna relate a lot of shit to jujitsu, but I have a training partner in jujitsu, and he just became a blue belt, and he thanked me for really grinding the crap out of him and pushing him because we push each other. I may be a white belt, but I'm not. I'm going to go as hard as fuck on this guy, and he knows I go as hard as I can. And the guy's 50. He's not. I'm rounding up. He's 49. The guy's insane. So I look at him as like my catalyst to do everything. Like he's done CrossFit for 12 years. He's done jujitsu now for 3 years. He's a cop and he's just jacked. And he's 49. Like, not that 49 is old, but you just don't see a lot of guys at that age doing the shit that he's doing. And not only that, so I live in Wisconsin. He holds 6 Wisconsin state powerlifting records. He's a tank. He is probably one of the best jiu-jitsu training partners I could probably ask for. So knowing what has done and accomplished, it's like, fuck, all right, I really got to get after it because I got to keep up with you because that's exactly what I want to do.
Mm-hmm. I agree, especially in jiu-jitsu when you have somebody who's on the same level or if the same mindset. Because there are times where I had a couple guys I used to train with that were on the same level as me, and I would look at them like, all right, listen, like we're training for an hour straight, we're not doing breaks, and we're gonna see what happens. And as long as you don't hurt me, I'm not gonna hurt you. And if you're able to do that with somebody for an hour straight with no breaks, and you guys don't get hurt at all, not even like a swipe to the face or any like scratches, that's when you know it's good and you have a good training partner. And the people who are listening, if you guys do jiu-jitsu, I would recommend finding good training partners like that. Like be open to rolling with anybody. Like if you're a white belt and a black belt asks you to roll, you say yes.
Always.
If there's a bra guy that looks intimidating and you're a blue belt and you're like, oh shit, and he asks you, you say yes, because you can learn from literally anybody that you roll with, whether it's a white belt, a black belt, somebody who has been doing it for years, somebody who hasn't been doing anything. You can always learn and get better by rolling and training with everybody. And then once you have a good set of partners that you can work with and people that you can learn from, it'll take you a long way. Because there are sometimes, I mean, listen, there are sometimes even with the belts, like sometimes like I've learned more from purple belts than I learned from black belts, because some people, they just don't know how to teach, and they, they just do it very differently. So having good teachers and good training partners, or even a good team in general, that's going to push you far. That's going to push you in tournament. That's going to push you in life. That's going to push you in anything that you do, any kind of style that you do. Jiu-jitsu is very prevalent. There are a couple of guys that are very egotistical because they want to compete. They don't want to get tapped out, especially with leg locks. I've had so many, not altercations, but so many arguments when it came to leg locks because some guy didn't want to tap. Some guy said that, oh, you put a heel hook in a wrong different position, or guys have you in a deep senkaku inside heel hook, and you tap, and when they don't let go, like that's just dickhead stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah, having good training partners and having good people around you is very, very vital. Very vital.
I agree. I mean, and look back to what you were saying, like rolling with an upper belt, you never turn down a roll. Like if someone says, hey, let's roll, you just roll, right?
Yep.
Which I knew from the beginning, and I do. Like the gym I go to, I'm very blessed where I go. It's pretty small. So it consists of our professor, who's obviously a black belt, and we have two brown belts, which is, it's nice because one guy is like, we call him like he's the dick of our gym. He's not really a dick, but he's as close as it comes to being a dick, even though he's not a dick. Does that make sense? Like everybody in our gym's nice, but if you're gonna call someone a dick, he would be the one. So, anyways, he's more like the smash and ground guy. And then you have the other brown belt that is, he's Gumby. Like he just can bend and it's crazy. And then you got your purple belts. And then, you got a couple blue belts, and then you got a crap ton of white belts. And I literally get to roll with every single one of them, every single class. And the guy I was talking to before, when you roll with a brown belt, let's just say you roll with them for an hour, you're not getting an hour's worth of training. You're actually getting like 2 to 3 hours worth of training, as long as they're going to teach, willing to stop and explain stuff and all that kind of stuff. So you can put in this, someone can put in the same mat time as you, but only roll with a white or a blue belt. But I'm going to learn more because I rolled with this brown belt that wants to show me stuff. Even though the blue belt's showing you stuff, the brown belt obviously knows more. And that's when it comes down to like workout partners. If you're going to find a workout partner and you're just getting started, you don't necessarily want someone, you kind of want to find a brown belt or a black belt as a workout partner so they can teach you and bring you up with them. Instead of, you don't want to find that guy that has a big ego that is just like, oh, I can outlift you. Yeah, well, no shit, I'm just fucking starting. Like, you want to find that good training partner, and like you said, having a good team around you, that's huge.
That's another good thing too, because you can create good training partners. Say if
Correct.
I'm with my boy, and I'm deep into this shit, and I'm deadlifting 400 or 500 pounds, and my boy's just starting to work out. Listen, here's how you deadlift. Here's what you do. This and that. I'll do my weights. I'll take a little bit of time to teach him how to deadlift and stuff like that. But if he keeps coming, he's consistent, then he'll start doing the same way we are. Like, yo, Tom, we're going up. Yeah, let's do it. I don't even got to tell him shit. I created a good training partner, somebody that motivates me, somebody that can get after it with me.
Right.
People who are teachers or people who have stuff to give back to life, to people, you create good, genuine people that want to do better. Even in the mats in jiu-jitsu, say if you're a black belt, you're teaching some random guy who's an athlete who knows what he's doing, but he has no idea to know what to do with jiu-jitsu. And say if in 6 months to a year, that guy that you turn into an animal, that is a good role for you. So even if you're training, it's like, all right, you're fighting a white or a blue belt and you're a black belt, but you created that person, there's still a good training partner because you're still going to get something out of it. The guy's strong. The guy knows somewhat what he's doing. You're still going to break a sweat. You're still going to work different positions like omoplatas, triangles, mount, S-mount, all that shit. Yeah, the guy's not really going to know what he's doing, but it's still a good training partner to you. Same thing in the gym. Same thing with steel clubs. Like, you create different training partners and different people to where you then can have a team and you can build off from yourself. So that's what I like to do. That's why I like my Monday workouts. I don't charge anybody because it's a free thing that I do for people, but it's also good because the people who are just starting to get into it, or people that want to kind of be a part of a group, it's good because they can see what they can become, they can see what they can do, they can kind of partner up with people and really work together and push their boundaries. And it's just fun. It's just fun. I like working out with people. I like working out with people or training with people that want to get after and they're on the same mindset of me. Obviously, not everybody's going to be mentally as insane as I am because I'm pretty fucking crazy when I work out. But point is that I like people who are hungry and I like people who want to get after and have the same mentality as me. And they're really like, it's cheesy to say, but there really is no I in team. Like in a team, like you can go far in life when you're a part of a good group. You can go fast by yourself, but you can go far with a team.
I agree 100%. Having a good team behind you or being part of a good team is, I think, crucial. I mean, you're not going to learn everything by yourself. You can, like you said, you can do a lot of things by yourself, but you can't. I mean, you're going to become good at jiu-jitsu by rolling by yourself and just doing drills by yourself? No. You got to have a good training partner to go in. Can you work out hard by yourself? 100%. Will you go further with a good partner? I agree. I think you will. It comes down with everything. Like you're just going to go farther in life with a good team, or at least a good team member.
Even if it's just one person, even if it's just like one person that says like they start applauding you because you did something good. Like even if it's like you're at a jiu-jitsu match and the other person has a whole team on them rooting for them, but then one guy doesn't, he maybe has like his girlfriend or like one friend supporting him. That's still support, man. People still believe in you. And the people that believe in you, and even if it's just one person, that means a lot. To me, that is like I like even when I first started off with jiu-jitsu, with working out, like back then when I was in high school, even with friends in general, they didn't like what I was doing because they saw that I was getting better. I was looking better. I was getting muscle, and people hate. And your biggest haters are the ones that are closest to you because they see what you're doing and they literally critique and see how better you are than them.
Right.
We don't see it that way.
Because they knew you at the beginning. They
Exactly.
knew who you were, and they don't like, they like that you're becoming better, but they don't like that they're not becoming better, and that's why they hate it. They don't actually hate you. They actually hate the fact they hate themselves because, holy shit, Tom's freaking, he's been going after this for a year and a half, and look at what he's done in a year and a half. And I'm still over here eating cheeseburgers and pizzas all the freaking time, and I don't lift up anything. Like,
and that's very prevalent in society. And like I said a couple of years ago, like, you know, did I have a lot of people supporting me? No, I didn't have a lot of clients. Like I just started up. I posted on my Instagram every day, like, yo, listen, like I'm hosting a workout in my backyard. Yo, I'm going to the track. Like whoever wants to show up. Hell, even if it was 1, 2, 3 people, it didn't matter to me because it still was very motivating and very inspiring that people do believe in me, that they want to support me. So even then it's like you could do so much with one person. If you had a team, yeah, but hell, even maybe the team, you know, they could be good, but even if you have one person supporting you, that should be more than enough drive for you to continue doing what you're doing and pushing forward. If even just one person buys a t-shirt, even if one person pays for a training session, one person shows up for a class, it doesn't matter. You're still doing something right to where it could lead to thousands, hundreds of people, where you're motivating, where you're working with people. So if you have just that one person, that one breakthrough that really supports you, then you should know that you're doing something right and that you should keep doing it and keep going forward, whether that's coaching, competing, training, whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, and that one person, guaranteed it's not going to be that one person. If that one person is now a mom or a dad and is now showing a better example to their kids, now their kids are learning something new. Like that, it just goes outwards more than what you probably will ever see. That one person could touch 20 people that they don't even know that they're showing what they're doing to. So yeah, I totally agree with that. And I mean, that's part of the reason why I started doing jujitsu and really getting back into working out is I have 3 boys. The goal right now is I'm not keeping up with them. They have to keep up with me. That's literally going to be the goal for the rest of my life is no. You guys keep up with that. That's now the rule. So I'm getting in shape. I'm doing jujitsu. My oldest does jujitsu. My middle does wrestling, and my youngest is just too young to get on any kind of mat yet. So that's the goal. Keep up with dad.
And you're you're laying down the foundation for the future generations, because in the future, your boys, they're going to grow up to be strong young men that are conditioned, that know how to wrestle, know how to do jujitsu. That way, they can teach that to other people, or even then they can teach that to their boys or their girls in the future, and so on and so on. And it's very important to spread the word and to spread knowledge to people, because you're building future generations. And
For
now
sure.
in today's world, like I feel like everybody, if you know what you're doing and you do something good, and it could create better people, or it can create better foundation, generational strength for people, then by all means do it. And that's great, because your boys are going to grow up to be strong, energetic, athletic, kind, and stuff like that. And they're not going to take no shit. So that is very respectful, and that's awesome. And me, like, I'm young, I'm 25 years old, but eventually when I do roll and I have kids, that's the same thing I'm going to be doing. Like, y'all ain't going to keep up. I ain't going to keep up with you guys. You guys are going to have to keep up with me as long as I live, because at the end of the day, I want to teach you how to be strong and how to be mentally equipped to handle anything that happens in life.
Yep. Yep. And I think getting kids into martial arts is huge. I mean, my middle doesn't want to do jujitsu, but he just started doing wrestling, and he's finding out that he's really good at it, and when he's not good at it, he's like, okay, this is what I have to do to get better. And it's like, and it's awesome. He's 6. Like, you shouldn't. Like, how do you already know that's what you have to do? But it's awesome to see. Like, as a dad, it's like, it's super awesome. And then my oldest that does jujitsu, he's 8. He'll be 9 in a couple months. Same thing. He's tried wrestling. He doesn't really like wrestling. Does jujitsu and absolutely loves it. So it's like, it's just super cool to see. Even though they're getting their ass kicked, they still want to show up every single day and still put in the work. It's super awesome to see.
And that's all that matters. As long as they're staying in motion, and as long as they have some kind of drive and some kind of force that pushes them, that's all that matters. Because like I said, that's going to build the foundation for everything that they do in life. So
Right.
that's really good.
Yeah, that, I mean, and that you brought up Cam Hanes, and the one thing he said that really spoke to me, it's one thing to be a loser, but it's another thing to be a loser dad. Like,
Agree with that.
yeah, that he said that, I'm like, ooh, all right. Not that I was a loser or a loser dad, but it's like, okay, how can I be better and teach them to be better? And they've always seen me work out and eat healthy and really limit myself on that. But then I was like, I need to take this to the next level. And it was like, all right, jujitsu is where we're going. That's what we're doing. And so far, so good.
God bless, man. That's awesome. I hope they grow up to be strong young men, killing it on the mat, winning jiu-jitsu tournaments, hopefully coaching one day, because then that's opportunity for them. And the sky's the limit with that. They're not just going to be strong. They're going to be able to have some kind of career path or some kind of thing that pushes them to where they could teach and they could do things themselves. They could open up a gym. They could do whatever they want. So that's good, man. That's very respectable, because that's what I want. That's what I strive to be in the future too. Like when I have kids, whenever that happens, then that's the baseline of what I want to do too. So I respect that highly. Very, very good.
It's awesome. Yeah. I mean, and having kids, it's a blast. I mean, when you can teach them stuff, like it's like teaching a new client. It's,
Exactly.
you see them progress and you're like, oh yeah, I taught them that. This is awesome. Like, I'm so happy for them.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to training, do you train every single day?
Yeah, it's not smart, but honestly, like I do it in the intensity of where I can handle it. I haven't taken a day off in really like a month, about a month and a half. I always try and get something in, whether it's intense or whether it's just like a couple of sets. I like to stay in motion. I know rest and recovery, like I preach to everybody that it is very, very important. But like me, like I know my body and how it works. So I do train every day, but if it's like a certain day, if I have a busy ass day and I really just feel depleted, then I'll take off. But most of the time, like I do feel really good. And it's like, it's really just a mentality. Like I love this shit. I love working out. I love training martial arts. Like I love doing everything. So I'm always ready in any given scenario. Excuse me, any given scenario, and I solely do it just because like I love it. It's not even just like me maintaining. Like if I stop working out for 2 weeks, like I could, but I would not lose any strength or muscle mass, because it's just like I would eat right. My body's endured. My body knows what it is and know how it feels. But I generally train every day just because I love it. It's so fun to me. It's my therapy. I love just getting up and sweating and working with people. I like, this is genuinely like my passion and like what I do. I couldn't see myself doing anything else. And if I didn't have training, shit, I don't know what I would be doing, you know?
For sure. I mean, you can tell about just what you talk about it. It's definitely what you're supposed to be doing in life. That's for sure.
Thank you.
Just training and helping people. Like you can tell by the way you're talking.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. And I'm glad I found it at a young age. I'm blessed. Like, thank God that like I found it at a really young age, and it built the foundation for my life. So, but even then, even if I had found it when I was like 40, 50 years old, that's fine. But like, I'm very blessed to like find what I was really meant to do and what I love to do, and also to make a career out of it. That's something that I'm very grateful to have. So yeah. And I encourage everybody to do it. Everybody, like, listen, like, just if you feel depressed, you feel sad, or you're angry, pick up a weight, go run, go dance, do something that you can do to just to stay in motion, to forget about it. And you never know, you could be 30 years old and working out for a year or two, and then that could be your next career path. You may never know. So I try and just spend as much time as I can to spread the word of working out, training, martial arts, and then you never know, kind of just change people's lives physically, but also you never know, they can make it into a career and they can change their lives. So you never know. I think it's the best possible thing that anybody can do on the planet.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm 30, I'm 34, I think. 34. Yeah, I'm 30. So a little, I'm just gonna give you some advice here. When you turn 30, you just stop counting.
Just forget. You
You
just you check
just
out.
I told my wife that and she laughed at it. And then we were talking the other day and she's like, "You're gonna be 35 this year, right?" I was like, "I don't know. We stopped counting, remember? Like we discussed this."
I just don't want to pay attention anymore.
Yeah. So but no, even just getting off the couch and walking around your block is huge, just to get that movement going. And then where I was going back with my ages, this is where I want to take my career, and what I want to do is like I want to help people get started and or stay motivated in their fitness journey. I don't know if I can become a personal trainer, but this getting out the word and be like, you need to get started because it just makes you feel better and it will build the person you want to be for in the future. That's where I want to be. That's why I started this podcast. That's why I'm working on doing this, is because I think it's important. It's affected my life in the past few years, and especially with having kids and making the goal of no, keep up with dad. I think that should be everybody's goal. Like, let's not sit around and get lazy people. I mean, we have too many lazy people in this world already.
I agree, man. I agree. And especially nowadays in today's society, a lot of people are very lazy. A lot of people think that they could just get handouts and everything. But in reality, the way the past generations did it, and that how anything in life is worth having, it's worth living, is to bust your ass and to work for it. And that I 100% agree. And like you, I strive to do that and just train people and stuff like that. I love doing podcasts. I love like just talking, and I love just like training and stuff like that. But like really changing mankind and leading the way for people it's not about me anymore. It's about them. It's about people that I teach. It's about people that I coach and that I train. Like me, like, yeah, like my training is a priority, but at the end of the day, like it's not about me. It's about the people that I teach and the people that I lead forward. So you got to kind of forget about yourself for a little bit. Even like you, for example, like with your kids, with your sons, like your training is important. Like obviously no excuses, but then again, it's like, all right, I got to teach my boys how to do certain things. I got to get them on the mat. I got to make sure they're consistent and they're good with their work. So you got to kind of prioritize differently, but like to know that, all right, I'm doing something good and I got other people's hard work and willingness in my hands, and I got to lead the way for them. So
For sure.
yeah.
That's exactly it. Like, not only am I trying to keep them going, or not even keep them going, but get them going on a good path. But I mean, I want to help others like you do, just in a different way to get started. Like, give them some education. This workout is like, this is one way you can work out. Like, there's millions of ways to work out. There's not just one way. Start with one. You got good at that one. Go to the next one, and then really figure out which one, just like the diet thing, find out which one works for you and what you're actually trying to accomplish. Like, just walking is huge. It's super simple, and a lot of people like, it's not really an exercise. But if you're not doing anything and then you start walking, it's an exercise. Even if it's for 15 minutes, go outside, go for a walk, come back, do it again tomorrow. add an extra 5 minutes.
I
Keep
agree.
adding time. And by the end of the month, you're going to be walking for an hour. You're going to feel good, like super good, especially if you haven't done anything. And
Yes.
yeah, it's just, I don't know. I love this stuff. I really do.
I can tell, man. I love it too. We both have the same mindset, and I'm very happy that we did do this and we did talk because, like I said before, when we started, like I love just like picking the brains of somebody that is like minded as me, and some not only that, but like somebody who does the same stuff as me. So, yeah, I do have to start wrapping up though.
No, you're good.
I do have a client in a couple minutes. So, thank you so much for this. Like, this is very refreshing. I love doing podcasts, and I thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. It was a lot of fun, and I would love to do this again. It was great.
For sure. Yeah, we'll definitely have to do it again. I mean, I appreciate you coming on here, sharing your knowledge. I know a lot of people will get some value out of this. There's a lot of good knowledge dropped in this one. So I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Go have a good day and go teach some people some stuff.
Yes, sir. I will, man. Thank you so much. Thank you again. I'm going to head out, but I will message you and then we will talk after this. All right. So
Sounds
thank you.
good.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you. All
Pleasure
right.
talking
See
to
you,
you.
man.